Hello, good to be with you again for today's Faith Over Fear. Pastor John here. I've taken a few days recently and thought about God's promises for our everyday lives. We read all through the Bible about God's promises to Bible people and of Bible things. God's promises of prophecies to come and how the end of the age will come down and this type of thing. There's a lot of God's promises that aren't just for the future, but they're for today. And one of them that I want to think about today is the promise of forgiveness. And there's two areas I want us to think about. One is, of course, forgiving others, and the second is forgiving ourselves. Absolutely, though, through all this, we need to remember that Christ wants to forgive us. And why? No other reason than because of the fact that he loves us. It's not our merit. It's not something that we've done. It's not something that we've not done that causes us to love him. It causes him to love us. He just loves us. In spite of ourselves, sometimes he loves us, for sure. In Colossians, Paul is the writer when he says, forbearing one another, forgiving one another, if any man has a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye. I'm thinking about not only forgiving the non-Christian, but also forgiving the Christian. And that's what I want us to think about today, is forgiving everybody, not putting a title on that everybody. It's the she did this or he did that thing that we need to escape from. It's the ego thing. It's time for folks to put God first in our lives and forgive others and get busy for Christ. We can get so fixated on what he's doing, what she said, that we forget that our time here is limited. And while we have that limited time available, we need to make best use of it instead of gossiping here and talking there, worrying about this one here and worrying about this and that one there. And I'm not saying about not loving folks, because we need to love everybody. We for sure can't forgive anyone if we don't love them, to a certain extent. So we need to be forgiving other people as Christ has forgiven us. Second area is that of forgiving ourselves. Someone said recently to me, but preacher, you don't know what I've done. No, I don't. And it's not important that I know what you've done. But I do know this. If you go to God for forgiveness, and you're sincere about it, in your heart, God forgives you no matter what you've done. Now just accept that and forgive yourself and carry on for Christ. If God's big enough to forgive me for something, I should be big enough to forgive myself and forget what I've done and go on from there. In 2019, forgiveness is a giant word that can absolutely be done if we want it to happen. So let's think about forgiving that someone for whatever it is. Harboring anger hurts you more than it hurts the other person anyhow. So forgiving that someone, forgiving ourselves, and going all out for Christ. So until we're together again, think about the word forgiveness, and you go and make it a wonderful day.